I'll call the Common Council meeting to order, October 9th, 2018. Notice has been duly posted. Roll call.
Mayor Joe Chilson,
Here.
Jim Benash,
Here.
Jerry Every,
Here.
Ron Jertson,
Here.
Jim Olson,
Here.
Kim Smith, Diane Wolf.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. City Council and Subcommittee meetings shall be conducted in a courteous manner. Citizens, council, and committee members shall be allowed to state their positions in an atmosphere free of slander, insults, and obscene remarks, threats of violence, or for use of council or committee as a forum for politics. Sufficient warning may be given by the Sergeant-at-Arms at any time during the remarks, and in the event that any individual shall violate the rules of decorum heretofore set forth, such person may be cut off from comment or debate. Anyone wishing to give public input, please step to the podium. State your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
I'm Ward Kyle at 426 4th Avenue North, and I'm here to talk about the streets in Onalaska. Jim Olson right now over in Wilson going through his head, he's, oh my God, he's back. Alderman Hall, you be, sir. I really am here to thank Jared Holt and his staff and the city street crew for the job which they do in this community on the streets. I do travel many, many, many streets in the city of Onalaska on a daily or a nightly basis, however you'd like to look at it. And our streets, I do go to other communities, our streets are excellent. And I realize there's probably a few out there that can use some help, but there are budget constraints. And I'll thank the council for throwing in a bucket too for Jared to work. But with money that he has allocated, I feel that his department and the street department has done a fantastic job. And the city and the community should commend him, Jared, for the job you do. I want to thank you because I do travel those streets. I also really would like to thank the police department. I do run into them on a nightly occasion. And I think that the community doesn't appreciate them for the job also that they do, especially in the evening. And with that, I'll say thank you. And Jared, again, thank you, sir, for what you do. I will add just this by this Sunday at 4 o'clock, the Friends of the Onalaska Library are having their annual wine tasting at Mary Cody's, and tickets are available at the library and at Mary's and from yours truly. I just thought I'd throw in that plug. Anyway, you folks have a nice evening, and again, Jared, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to give public input? Second call, anyone wishing to give public input? Third and final call, anyone wishing to give public input? That portion is now closed. Report from the mayor. I have library statistics, and again, the library is being well used and utilized. As I state on a regular basis, it's a pearl of the city. And we have, let's see, total residents year-to-date, 131,136 visitors. So I think the library staff does a tremendous job, and they should be thanked as well for what they do for the citizens of Onalaska. Okay, recommendations for approval and/or possible action from the following committees, commissions, and boards. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests removal, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the order of business in the non-consent agenda. Does anyone wish to have any items removed from the consent agenda?
You have my list, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Yes, would you please, for the record, call those out?
You want me to tell you what they are?
Tell everybody what they are. so-
I'm sorry. Under Board of Public Works, item M, approval of a snowmobile trail. Item N, approval of the proposed application for a railroad quiet zone at Irvin Street. And item P, approval of proceeding with design of the Green Coulee Reservoir Site 2A. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, is there anyone else that wishes to remove anything from the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Alder Wolf, seconded by Alder Every to approve the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Now, the recapping, we will put letters M, N, and P in item,
Just do them now.
Just do them now.
between 13 and adjournment.
I think just do them now.
Just do them now.
Want to do them now?
Recap. There's no other items I think that really fit, so I think we can just do them now.
Do them right now?
Sure.
Okay. We'll do them first. Board of Public Works, approval of the snowmobile trail within the city of Onalaska for the 2018-2019 winter season, including crossing State Trunk Highway 35 at Oak Forest Drive.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Alder Olson, seconded by
Kim.
Alder Smith. And is there discussion? Yes. Alder
Thank you,
Every.
Mr. Chairman. Under the approval of the snowmobile trail crossing Highway 35, the only thing I want to go on record as saying that I think that's a dangerous, dangerous situation. And I know you approved it, and that's fine, and I know that it's been going that route for several years. Just want to say that I think it's a tremendous liability for us, and I will be voting no on that. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else wishing to make comment? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
One nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item N under the Board of Public Works, approval for proposed application for a railroad quiet zone at Irving Street Crossing.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion made by Alder Smith, seconded by Alder Olson to approve. Discussion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have questions for Jared that I don't think were asked, or at least from the minutes, I did not get an answer that was suitable, I don't think. If we approve this quiet zone application, are we forever permitted from trying to do a crossing down on Second Street, further down?
Go ahead.
We are not, we are permitted to pursue a quiet zone still at Second Avenue Southwest. What we would not have happen is we could not combine the two scores. So currently, there's a scoring system that the railroad quiet zone is put forth, and based upon the amount of train traffic, the safety factors that are at the intersection. So if we go forward with the Irvin Street intersection, we would not be able to put together with the Second Avenue Southwest intersection. But with the geometrics at that intersection and what would have to be done in order to get a quiet zone there, combining the two scores, in my opinion, is not going to be relevant either way, because of the fact that the driveways in that location, the skew of the intersection where the tracks cross, we would have to take other measures to pursue a quiet zone or an alternate method such as a wayside horn at the location.
That leads me to my second question. There are certain things that we have to do in order to do that, to pursue that option. And do we have those, are they included in our capital improvement budget? Do we intend to, there are several things that we would have to do.
The Irvin Street intersection, it is anticipated at this time that we would probably, a lot of what you see there today qualifies for the quiet zone. We would most likely have to do some pedestrian fencing or things of that point. If we apply for the quiet zone, it would take 9 months for the approval to go through, figuring that the 9-month lag period until we get a decision back would coincide approximately with the time we would start putting together the 2020 capital improvement budget. So we showed the project going forward in the 2019 capital budget, but we did not show any more funding. We did have a limited amount of funding for construction from the 2018, but we would actually, if that was approved, we would have to wait and do that construction with 2020 proposed funds if we did not have enough funds from 2018.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Item P, approval of proceeding with design of Green Coulee Reservoir Site 2A.
I move we approve proceeding with the design.
Motion made by Alder Smith, seconded by Alder Jurtson to approve. Discussion.
Thank you again, Your Honor. My only question there, and again, I was not clear from the minutes how that was going to be paid for, but I suspect that the money's already in there. It's been in there for the last 3 years. We're just now coming to conclude that.
So this was a difficult item to word on the agenda because we're not actually approving the design services for finishing the design with the consultant. We are approving moving forward conceptually with the design of Site 2A, which we would be taking forward hopefully to the next month's park board meeting to alert them, see what their input would be on it, and to move forward to see if we can get the ensure that we can get the DNR to approve what, because it would be bordering inside the parkland. With that, if that goes forward, then I would bring forward a professional engineering services for the final design of the reservoir that would seek approval for releasing those funds. And you are correct, those funds for design have already been budgeted in the capital improvements budget, but this is not expending any more monetary funds than we have currently. It's just moving forward or trying to that site.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Approval of proceeding with design of Green Coulee Reservoir Site 2A. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Okay, now we'll move on with the non-consent agenda. Finance Committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 8A is the vouchers. The following is a list of monies expended since the last Common Council meeting dated September 11th of 2018. The total is $2,077,851.71. I move we approve these expenditures.
Second. Ron.
Motion made by Alder Smith, seconded by Alder Jurtson to approve the vouchers in the amount of $2,077,851.71.
Your Honor, it's actually 74 cents.
74 cents. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. That was a good one, Fred.
Thank you.
Administrative Committee.
Number 9, approval of Class B picnic license for St. Patrick's Parish for Snip and Paint event on November 2nd, 2018, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Alder Banash, seconded by Alder Wolf, to approve Class B picnic license for St. Patrick Parish for a sip and paint event on November 2nd, 2018, from 6 to 10. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Judiciary Committee.
Ordinance 1620-2018 to annex land located southeast quarter of southeast quarter in Section 2 Township 16 North, Range 7, west the town of Madera to the city of Onalaska. Elmwood Partners, Roush Property, first and second reading. Any discussion?
Per the recommendation of the Judiciary Committee, I move that we suspend the rules and give ordinance 1620-2018 its first, second, and third reading this evening.
Second.
Well, the motion is to suspend the rules. Okay? And there's, suspend the rules by Alder Wolf, seconded by Alder Banash to suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? The rules are suspended. Now you can make the next motion.
I'll read it in again. A ordinance 1620-2018 to annex a land located in southeast quarter of southeast quarter in Section 2 Township 16 North, Range 7, west from the township, the town of Madera to the city of Onalaska, Elmwood Partners, Roush Properties, first, second, and third reading. Any discussion?
Is there a second?
Point of order, could we make that into a motion, please? That was not a motion.
I will make a motion to accept.
Okay? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Alder Dirksen, seconded by Alder Wolf, to approve ordinance 1620-2018, giving it its first, second, and third final reading. Yes.
If I may just add a friendly amendment, that'd be first, second, third, and final reading.
Okay. First, second, third, and final reading. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Utilities Committee.
Did we vote on we take a final vote on that motion?
We just did. We just,
Without discussion.
oh,
That's all right. We didn't have any.
we did kind of speed through that without a,
Well, I asked you to hurry, didn't I? Oh, I just wanted to say that I thought this is an item that we have already approved the permits and the designs and everything for this project. And I thought it was a little strange that we're just now approving the annexation. So that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
I thought that should have come first.
okay.
Utilities, thank you, Your Honor. Utilities Committee authorization to proceed with 3% standard rate case adjustment for the water utility with the Public Service Commission effective for 2019.
Make a motion to approve. Proceed.
A motion made by Alder Benosh, seconded by Alder Jertson, to approve authorization to proceed with a 3% standard rate case adjustment for the water utility with the Public Service Commission effective 2019. Discussion. Yes.
Just for your information, I will be voting no on any budget that contains an increase in the water, sewer, or stormwater utility rates. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay?
That's 2 nays. Abstentions? So moved. Mr. City Administrator.
Thank you, Your Honor. I received from Finance Department and Fred your big binders for the 2019 proposed budgets. There's a cover letter on the first page in there from me that's similar nature to the previous one from last year. I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce the budget and just give a 40,000-foot overview of some of the challenges that we face here. We'll not be going through page by page. Instead, there'll be a budget hearing that will be asking to be set for November 12th for approval, as well as then setting a date and time for the finance personnel meeting to go over this item page by page as well. Be able to make amendments or any changes or answer any questions at that point in time. So in the cover letter, first thing to indicate, keep in mind that this is still estimates and assumptions. It's a living document. Changes can be made. The first assumption that we're really reviewing off of is our expenditure restraint calculation. First thing of note, don't want to bury that and do want to roll it out right away. This budget does include a mill rate increase to be 0.0061766 compared to a lower mill rate. It's an increase of 4.19%. That does need some explanation, keeping in mind a mill rate is simply your total taxes assessed divided by your total valuation. And what happened in this year, $14 million of valuation got erased by the personal property tax. That is a overall reduction. And so while over time, we've had some, last few years, some negative tax levy or tax levy decreases, that really is the total taxes collected may have been minimally incrementally growing year by year, but the total property valuations have increased so much that it shows a negative mill rate growth. That this year, with 14 million of assessed value being erased by the personal property tax being eliminated to a large degree, that speaks for your mill rate increase. To put another perspective, this is it's actually still under the mill rate from 2016, even though we've had multiple years of net new construction and growth. So the state's and decisions directly impacts your tax rate this year, even though your net taxes collected is following the same pattern over time with some small increases. If you flip to the second page, then some areas of significant changes. Point out just a few of these, in particular the second one down under revenues called shared revenue. Most of that shared revenue is the loss in expenditure restraint calculation payments this year. We still qualify for 2019 payments. In previous year, it was $137,000 in revenue received by the state for hitting our expenditure restraint payments. This year, it'll be $83,167. So $54,000 in revenues eliminated by the state that need to be replaced somehow. On top of that, the state aid road allotments or transit aids is also decreasing by $40,000. So we have almost $100,000 worth of state aids that have been wiped out this particular year. So when I mentioned that we've had some challenging budgets, that speaks to some of that. Our total valuation has decreased to spread over taxes. That's not even counting any revals that have gone down because of the dark store. That's just simply the personal property tax. And then state aids have been reduced, again, substantially. The good news, the percentage looks great. The connecting highway funds are up 21%. That's all of $8,500 when you look at it, though. So doesn't really offset what they've taken away on the other sides of that. If you bear with me and flip back to the first page again on the bottom, I do include some language in the budget notice or budget letter I put out to the department heads. And it's that second to last paragraph down there, that I did request the budget department heads to prepare a 0% increase in their non-wage and non-capital expense budgets. Again, that's a very small sliver of the overall budget, but it's the one they most control. That's at least the third year, maybe fourth year in a row of 0% increases within the non-wage and non-capital expenses. Additionally, I requested that the department heads review efficiencies created by past and proposed software enhancements or purchases, new or changed personnel, reorganizations, in or outsourcing, or downsizing if necessary. So I did want to open the opportunity for department heads to review their staffing and really look at creating the efficiencies with the existing staff or making sure that the right tasks are done by the right people. So flipping back to areas of significant change again, under the expenditures, that's where you'll start seeing these sections where there's decrease and increase amounts there. That's the net result of the department heads and then myself and the administrator budget making some changes to some staffing there. So we can talk about the elections. It's an odd year, so elections decrease. That's good news. Keep in mind that the following year is 2020, another presidential election, so you see the number increase again in the following year, but we do try to highlight the actual payroll costs that way. Another big one is it's a reevaluation year for the assessor as by contract, so there's a much higher dollar amount there. That's a 1 year only that will be increasing that way. And then you'll see some increase and decrease for the rest of the staff there. Now, reviewing some of those positions as requested, this budget does include a on-staff city attorney beginning July 1st. Is sort of the most major one. Looking at within the planning departments, some of the concerns for the property maintenance and sign enforcement and what have you, making sure that the inspections of those kind of things are done at the right wage and right increase. So there's a planning tech position there. That's a proposed part-time position. And Jared, if there's any questions, you can speak to that position as well. I think it'll provide service to lots of departments up there. You have some adjustment to inspection personnel, saving some money. That's a review of how we compensate and reward the inspection departments. So I am proposing some decreases in my own staff there. And then some other changes there. I can answer any other questions there, but again, we'll have a chance to get into the weeds. Last thing I want to mention there is in bold, the note, the general fund increase of $115,317. That's strictly the increase in the health insurance costs for employees, the increase over the previous year as well. Again, just to reiterate, it is a living document, so changes are expected and look forward to the comments that we have. This is meant to be the council's document, but within the purview of looking for efficiencies as much as possible and taking some of the requests made by the council, put together within what I felt to be the budget as guided. The third page there, did you include that one, Fred? And there's the options. Okay, so the third page there highlights the fact that it's a living document. This is just a page highlighting changes that even occurred between the department budget and the administrator budget. Asked Fred to put together some options looking at some of the staffing and timing of some of those staffing. As you can see, that's the net impact. Option 2 is actually what is presented in your budget today. This does utilize the usage of reserves, which has been common practice in the past. The monies that are not budgeted or budgeted but not expended, we roll over and we are allowed to use some of those reserves for equipment replacement fund, correct me if I'm wrong, Fred, to help balance that budget. And so this budget will be requesting out of reserves $146,230. So let me bottom line it for you with that request. That's the smallest amount of all the options for that. Talked already about expenditure restraint, the fact that we have been reduced that amount. Later on in your packets, there is a sheet entitled City of Onalaska General Budget Expenditures Only, and then in Fred's handwriting, cap number 1. That is the expenditure restraint calculation. This budget is estimating a 3% restraint level, which this budget does include a 3% expenditure restraint growth based on our net new construction and based on what we estimate the state to bring in with their cost of living adjustment, the 2.5%. The budget also includes a 2% wage increase for COLA. I do expect the cost of living is actually going to be higher. The last 12-month one was about 2.7% for CPIU. My budget does not include a 2.7% increase. It's only 2% increase. I'm not sure that I'll be able to make that unless we use additional reserves at that higher amount. The next sheet from there,
Eric, where is that document? What color?
it's later on in the packet. It's a white sheet of mine. It's after the pink sheets, salmon color sheets.
I go from salmon to wage info.
If it's not included, I'll make sure that each one of you get a copy.
Well, it's in mine.
And Sean has it.
We'll make sure you have copies of that sheet there. It's with state cap 1, Sevan, Alaska, that we're getting a 3% rate. It does also show the former and previous expenditure restraint payments as high as $205,000 and now as low as $83,000 that we get from the state. So it's there. So we'll make sure we get that one. And then I'm going to assume you don't have this one afterwards, but it's the 2018 municipal levy limit worksheet, and in Fred's handwriting, cap number 2. The end result there is this budget does include a tax levy for all purposes that's $281,000 under the allowable tax levy. So another year, I don't know how many years in a row this is, that this community is not levying the full taxable amount it could levy. It's under that amount of levy. Still producing reserves and utilizing those reserves in the next year to offset any increases without going to the full tax levy. It's the only community I've been in that has a history as such, and I think that's very commendable, and that speaks to the actions of the council and recommendations by Fred and the finance department to be able to retain that. So.
Eric, if I may, if we do have reserves, what benefit is that to the city to have those reserves instead of the possibility of increasing taxes in order to make up any increases?
A few different reserves. One, and for our Moody's rating, and there's been discussion that we had already at the committee level, and we'll continue on with that process regarding our debt issuance. We have healthy reserves, which helps us borrow money at a much lower rate than if we did not have that reserve. So it is tax savings when we look at principal interest payments. The other opportunity for having reserves is the flexibility that in times of emergency or budget shortfalls, we don't have to levy the max. Other communities that I have, the first calculation we started with is how much levy can we collect, because we need every penny of that. And then what happens beyond that? What's your availability to be flexible down there with other expenses? You don't have that availability then. Then you're borrowing for operating costs. This way we actually have reserves that we can utilize for equipment replacements and other non-capital borrowing items that's available to us. So those are the two primary ones that I see, is the flexibility of having it and not having to go to market and borrow, and being able to reduce your principal interest costs, your interest costs, not principal costs.
Thank you.
If I may, could we request whatever we didn't have in our binder tonight, could we have it in our boxes by tomorrow then?
I'm sure we could, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Those are the kind of key ones, because that's the real high $40,000,
Yeah.
40,000 foot view of really where we are and those two components there. Again, we're not levying the full amounts, and I think that's good that we're not. And we're controlling our expenses to what's allowable with our expenses as well. It's been done in the past, and even with the changes, we're able to hit those numbers again.
Are you finished, Mr.?
My review is finished. I'm sorry. Yes.
But we need to set the dates and the times. Yes.
Could I say, could we perhaps just leave our budget books here and have you look at those and make sure we get the right pages? And then we could come and pick them up tomorrow, because is it
Yes,
Are we sure you know what pages we're missing?
yes.
Okay, well then, never mind, okay.
I mean, you can leave it here if you wish. Okay. Fred, do you have a date and time?
Yes, November 12th.
At 6 PM for the budget hearing.
I move that we set the budget hearing for Monday, November 12th, 2018 at 6 PM.
Second.
Motion made by Alder Smith, seconded by Alder Jertson to set the budget meeting November 12th at 6 PM in council chambers. Is there a, go ahead.
Are we still having, Mr. President, are we still having our October 22nd, just council getting together?
I think that's next on the agenda, yeah.
Yep, that'll be the next thing that we're gonna set, so. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Now we'll set the October date, and that is,
It is not on the agenda because it's open for discussion. We've been unsuccessful to find a date and time that seems to meet everyone's challenging schedule this time of year.
okay,
And so I think what we're looking for now is for the council to perhaps propose a date. The reason for that is we've historically done it on Wednesdays. And F&P, Kim, you're the one that couldn't make the first
Yeah,
week.
I thought we had talked about Tuesday, October 30th.
Yeah. That's what I had it down for, a temporary hold.
Is that the one, Jim, that could work for you or not?
I won't be gone on the 31st, so the 30th will be fine.
Okay.
okay. So does the 30th work for everybody? Okay. So, who would, oh, I'm sorry, yes,
I just want to make sure that when we do this as part of your motion, that we set the time to, and
Yeah.
right,
we start at 5 o'clock, but again, if you would state the time of the meeting also.
okay, and what time do we want to come in then?
Everyone make it at 5? Can everyone make it at 5?
As long as I know about it.
I move that we set, I make a motion that we set our F&P 2 meeting for Tuesday, October 30th, beginning at 5 PM.
Second motion.
Okay, motion made by Alder Wolf, seconded by Alder Jertson to set our F&P 2 meeting for Tuesday, October 30th at 5 PM in the council chambers. Yes, Jared.
Just to let you know, I'll be out of state on vacation, so I'll have to call in, and I think Dan's at a conference, so a couple of the department heads will be having a little trouble getting here, but we'll make do,
Okay,
as you know.
so noted, but,
And Your Honor, and I guess bearing that in mind, I would ask that if there are any of the six of us that have any questions or concerns, I think it would behoove all of us then to reach out to either Dan and/or Jared before, it's 3 weeks from tonight. If you have any questions or concerns, that would be the time now to ask them to kind of flesh that out before F&P 2. I think it'll just get us a lot farther ahead in the process. Thank you.
Mr. City Administrator.
And if I may suggest, as long as I have the clerk and city attorney to correct me if I'm wrong, if there's a particular issue that you want to be brought forth at the meeting, to email the department head and myself with that, and that way we'll have the information and we can speak to it and present that. I think as long as we're not discussing it back and forth, we should be okay with a walking quorum, correct?
Okay?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, Jim.
I'd like to remind all council members, too, that we will have this all worked out before December, so we don't have any surprises in December. So if you have questions here in October and November, make sure you have all your questions ready, done, so that when we come to December, we're not still squabbling over any particular problems with the budget.
Yes,
Thank you, Your Honor. And I just also want to confirm that, because I've seen F&P done F&P 2 done a couple different ways in years past, and I just want to confirm what the format's going to be, that all 6 of us, even though it is an F&P meeting, all 6 of us will be able to sit up here with our books, ask questions, but just the 3 members of F&P will actually be the ones to make the motion, second, and vote, correct?
That
the
will be
format.
correct.
Great.
The correct format.
Great, thank you. Just want to make sure we were all in agreement that that's how it was going to work. Okay, thank you. F&P 2. F&P 2. Well, correct. In past, the reason why I ask, Jerry, is there's been some past years where the 3 alders who were not on the committee, sometimes they sat here, sometimes they sat in the audience. And I just want to come prepared, where am I sitting? Because I'm going to pull up a table with this book. But I mean, I just think it's more cohesive, and we could all sit here even though, and we could all ask questions even though we can't vote, so.
Questions are going to be pertaining to the budget only, not the procedure that we use, we would want to use in the future, anything like that. Just the budget itself, is that what I'm understanding?
Correct.
Because I have enough to keep us busy all night.
That will be plenty, yep.
Yeah, because I'm assuming it'll be to review and approve whatever the actual agenda says, whatever it says, that's what we have to go by. So I'm assuming it's going to be something along the lines of to review and discuss and review, or whatever the verbiage is. I haven't seen one for a few years, so I don't remember what it says. But yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Tuesday, October 30th at 5 o'clock. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? So moved. Okay, report from Alderperson Wolf.
Thank you, Your Honor. Constituent earlier rained on my parade a little bit, but I will still go forward. Under A, the Friends of the Onalaska Library event on Sunday, October 14th, 2018, 4 to 6:30 p.m. at Mary Cody's Restaurant. I have given everyone that's seated up here a copy of the event that the Friends of the Onalaska Library is holding. It is a public event. You're all invited to attend. Also wanted to extend a personal thank you to the Friends of the Onalaska Library and all the wonderful things that they do on behalf of our community. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Alder Jurtson, seconded by Alder Emery to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? We stand adjourned at 7:42. Thank you, everybody.